Good morning, citizens of Zoho. How is it going? My name is Chris, and I am a product specialist with Zoho Sales IQ, and will be your host today morning. Just to clear a few things up front, you can send in your questions over the inbuilt chat at any point of time during the presentation. I will collate them and answer them together, one at a time, after the presentation. But make no mistake, every question will definitely be answered. That said, let's jump right in. Today, we are going to understand how to use artificial intelligence or AI to automatically engage your website visitors. So, this is no ordinary bot. This chatbot, we all lovingly call as Chloe, uses machine learning algorithms to understand how you and your associates respond to similar questions and tries to replicate them. It also uses NLP or natural language processing to understand variations in how we humans use language in conversations, understand when names or places are used, etc. So when you ask, how much does something cost, or what is the price of something, Chloe can tell that they are both variations of the same question and give you the same answer. Pretty cool, right? So, before we discover how this intelligent conversational bot works, let's first understand the critical role played by live chat systems in any modern business. For those of you already using it, well, you have done the right thing. For those of you about to deploy Sales IQ on your website, well, listen carefully. As you can see in the evolving chat, the chart on the screen, from the time a visitor visits your website for the first time to the time they purchase something there, to right until they go from being a customer to a happy advocate of your brand, live chat plays a crucial role. For someone visiting your website for the first time, live chat helps them get answers quickly at the click of a button. Agreed, there's a contact us form on your website, but how many people these days are willing to wait 1 or 2 business days to receive a response? Okay, you're thinking, I have a toll free number pasted all over my website, and my folks can call me on that. Well, that's true. But how many customers can you speak to at the same time? Not more than one, unless you're Chuck Norris. But a live chat system allows you to interact with multiple customers at the same time. It allows your visitors or your staff to exchange white papers, documents, video tutorials, or a video tour of your product, of your property, or your yacht, or a used truck that you're trying to sell online. It's convenient for your customers and it is scalable for you. Of course, there are website visitors who are reluctant to call or email you because they think of their questions as being too trivial to merit a call. You would know these people from your experience on live chat when they when they start the call by saying, "I know it's a silly question, but," and then they start telling you whatever it is they wanted to tell you. So we have established that live chat is efficient, that it is scalable, economical, and most importantly, convenient. So imagine if you can hire someone who can deliver this economical, convenient, scalable live chat solution to you around the clock every day, every week, and throughout the year. Someone who doesn't call in sick when it snows, or someone whose grandparents don't regularly pass away on Fridays or Mondays. We've all done that. I'm guilty as charged. But most importantly, what if you don't have to pay them for the services? Yep, that's the deal. So, obviously, you're surprised. So, this AI powered chatbot or conversational assistant, as we call them, uses machine learning and NLP, that's natural language processing, as mentioned earlier. So, it's a pretty smart piece of work. For the skeptics out there, yes, I'm not saying that this bot can completely replace humans, talk like humans, or chat rather, understand everything everyone says. No, we humans have trouble understanding what our friends or family say. Most of the time, you cannot even tell what the other person is saying or implying, even when sarcasm is not in play. All the married men out there are probably thinking, yeah, you have no idea, do you? I feel you. So, what really is the objective of this chatbot if it is not to take over your whole business or world domination? Don't worry, it's not designed to do that. Neither can it do that. Don't worry. But from our own experience and research, what we've discovered is that up to 70% of the questions one gets on chat, in some cases more than that, are repetitive in nature. Even if you make certain things obvious, like saying there is no need for your customer to provide the credit card number to simply trial a product you're offering, you will still see many people who want to double check that to see if that really is so. So they want to get in touch with you to ask something that is very clearly put up on your website. So this AI chatbot is an awesome fit for all those repetitive tasks like answering the same questions again and again. So if 70 to 75% of your average chat volume can be handled by this bot around the clock, then you have to deal only with the scraps. We will also briefly view two other sales IQ features that can reduce your incoming chat load even further. So you only have to deal with the bare minimum requests for information and concentrate on your other duties. Most of you, I know, also double up doing many other tasks in your company. You're the go to man for many things in your company. So you people will find this to be a win win deal. So you deal with a reduced workload, and your customers continue to get timely answers. So, what you're looking at on the screen is a very simple illustration. I'm really sorry that I cannot draw straight lines, and apologies for those crooked lines. But the point is, not only does Chloe take care of your customers' questions, it can also train your own operators by giving them suggestions, sort of like an automated canned message. We'll be looking into this in further detail later, but as you can see from the chart, whenever customers ask simple questions or same repeat questions, the bot processes it and then gives them replies. And whenever the bot is not involved, uh, the chats can be directly picked up by a human. Let's say you want to configure the bot in such a way that it should only take over live chat operations outside business hours and on weekends and Sundays. So that means people visiting your website during business hours will be able to connect with one of your human operators. In that case, Chloe continues to learn. It just doesn't go to sleep. It sees what kind of responses your agents give to your customers, and it continues to learn from that. It improves itself. And suggested replies, the one that you see there. Like I said, we will be looking into this in detail. It's better shown to you visually than simply listening to me. So, as we saw, the main problem for those who do understand the value of offering live chat to their customers is getting or finding the manpower and training them quickly, assuming you have the budget for it. So that is what Sundown's Chloe sets out to solve. So we're going to view a live demonstration of this chatbot working in real life. So let me scroll over to this page. As you can see, it's just a normal looking website just built for this specific purpose. So we can put this nice looking chat widget at the bottom left corner. So it's nothing different from what you already have on your website. So you just click that, and so you just fill in your name and email address. I just had them typed here already to save some time for us. So I'm just not going to type very simple words like hello or hi. I'm going to be a little more detailed right from the beginning. So I'm just going to say, is anyone home? Which is something that humans use with each other. But will a bot understand those kind of human slangs? Those are questions that you might have. So that is those things like that are what we set out to test in this demonstration. So as you can see on the top left corner, let me zoom in on this page. Yeah, so I hope you guys can see it better now. So as you can see, since I typed enter twice, it has sent me the same message twice, thinking the first one didn't reach me. But don't worry, Skynet, or whatever name you choose to call yourself, I got your message. So I sent this message saying, is anyone home? Which was responded to by the bot instantly with this message, which says, hello, welcome to Zilko Travels, which is just a made up website. My name is Chloe, your conversational assistant. How can I help you? So let's say I'm just fooling around. I really don't have many questions because it's a dummy website after all. So I just try to strike up a random conversation. Small talk. I don't know, Chloe, I'm not feeling well, I say. So Chloe responds by saying, I may have something that can help you. Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? I hope you guys get the reference. So obviously, if I haven't watched the movie Matrix, I don't know what the red pill or the blue pill is. So I'm going to ask Chloe, what's the difference? And Chloe replies by saying, oh, I made a typo. What's the difference? You take the blue pill, the story ends, she says. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. So, those of you who have seen the movie would know that these are the exact words spoken by Morpheus. So, who is this bot? Obviously, you have the same question as I do. So I type in, who are you really? Emphasis added on R. Who are you really? My name is Chloe, a conversational bot, but I have another name, a name my creator gave me. Ooh. And what is that? That's intriguing. Anderson. So, yeah, Anderson is the bad guy in the movie, Agent Anderson. They all look alike. So obviously, I now have to ask this to set uh, the record straight. So are we in a matrix now? It's a big one. She replies by saying the matrix is everywhere. It is all around us, even now in this very room. You can see it when you look out of your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is a world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. That's Obviously too much information for a little guy to me like me to process. So, oh my God. Yes, did you call me? Wow, look at her attitude. She thinks she is God. So, pretty funny, right? I mean, doubly so if you've seen the Matrix movie and are a big fan. So, obviously, I trained the bot to say that. We'll be looking more into that in the next few slides as we come to the close of this presentation. So, I told you I would show you visually how these uh, agent suggestions given to the agent by the bot looks like. So, based on the question asked, Chloe can suggest the most closely matching answers. Sometimes it could be just two matches, or at other times it could be as much as four. So, it sees which responses you and your staff pick over the others it recommended and tries to learn from even that. How cool is that? And in the process, it doubles up as a trainer or a coach to the new staff or intern that you just hired. So the question that you're seeing here is Tara, obviously a customer, is asking, what's the procedure to get a new one? She's referring to a loyalty card. And Chloe is able to give three different suggestions. They all seem pretty relevant. Sometimes you might want to know who they are to be able to answer that. Other times you might just already have that information, so you just give them the answer directly by telling them how they can file a request for a new one and so on. So this speeds up your agent responses because your agents sort of very just have to pick an answer from the available choices. You don't have to think and frame the answers, especially when they are new to this whole thing. So now that we've seen how useful live chats are on a website and how useful it is if you automate the entire process using a chatbot, uh, let's see how to set up Sundown's chatbot called Chloe on your Sales IQ account. Do note that only administrator level users can do this. And those of you who are not, but still watching this webinar, would have to remember to pass on these instructions to your admins or share the recording of this webinar when we make it available to you. So if you're not logged into your Sales IQ account already, please do that right now. So I'm going to go into my Sales IQ account now. The familiar visitors online rings here. I need to click settings first, integrations next, and look for an integration named Sundown. I'm using my mouse to point it right now. Of course, I see it here under integrated applications on the very top of the page because I've already connected Sundown's Chloe to my account. That's why we were able to see a working demonstration of that here. But in your case, since you're doing it for the first time, you need to scroll further down on this page under integrations to the section that says applications available for integration and look for Sundown, Sundown AI. So as soon as you click that, you will see a simple button. That will be the only button that you see on the page, a big green one that says enable Sundown integration. It's very simple. You cannot miss that. As soon as you click that, it creates a new account for you on Sundown, something similar to this, and we'll be coming into that later. It will immediately send you a confirmation email as well. So whoever is the administrator who made this integration should expect the email to come in a few minutes to their email address, which they're using to access Sales IQ on. And once you have enabled the integration, once you've confirmed the link sent to you via the email, this is the section that you will see. So here you can customize things like what you want to call the bot. If you don't think Chloe is there's sounds good for your business, you can do that. You can give it a one-line description. Wow, world domination. She really does have an attitude. But this is the most important point. How do I train Chloe? There are two options to do that. One is to let Chloe train with previous chats. So, how to do that? There are a few considerations involved. We will go over that. But basically, what it does is it goes over all the chat conversations that you guys have had in your chat history. It goes over all of them. It checks each and every conversation that was had and tries to learn from that. So it knows, okay, so if this question is asked, this is what I should reply, and so on. And then there are those of you who are new to Sales IQ and who do not have the requisite number of chats required. I know some of you are thinking, what is the requisite number? What is the minimum number? I will come to that. I will address it. So let's say you don't meet the requisite number, and so you're not eligible to have Chloe automatically train herself using machine learning. Or you're one of those guys who think my previous staff they didn't do a particularly good job in answering questions. That is the reason why I am looking at an automated chatbot. Or I just like to prefer training the bot from the scratch, from day one, in my image. So if that is what you're looking at, then you would have to click this second option at the bottom of the page that says, yes, I would like to train Chloe by myself, in which case you will be taken to your Chloe dashboard, and you would have already been asked to create a password by clicking the link in the confirmation email. But once you do all of that, you will then be taken into your Chloe management screen. Now, okay, let me log in. So as soon as you log into the Sundown dashboard where Chloe chatbot can be configured and managed, you will see that shortly. That is where you train the bot if you do it manually. So you can have situations where questions and answer phrases are set up and programmed, and you train Chloe as to what kind of answers it should give to different types of questions. So this is the Sundown dashboard, and it sort of shows the number of chats and conversations that Chloe has been handling over a period of time. So there's that, and it can also give you analytics information on how each of those conversations fared and so on. So let's come to those later. Those are advanced settings. We are looking at the basics right now. So as you can see, is anyone home was one of the first questions I asked the bot. And we can train it to say whenever somebody asks questions like this or variations of that, it should respond with a message like this or whatever you want to see. So you have a separate option called training that lets you do this. And if you think doing them one by one for each question and answer pair is time consuming, or if you feel that you already have them as part of an employee training handbook or an FAQ section, then you can simply click this button here. Let me zoom in. It says manually upload data set, where you can just click this button and upload a CSV format document that says, if somebody says, I need help, then Chloe should respond by saying, sure, how exactly can I help you? Or something like that. So you just upload that, and as and when Chloe responds to different questions and answers, you can, rate their responses. You can see how well it has done, and you can accordingly grade those responses. So responses that receive very good rating, very positive rating, can of course be accordingly used more often by Chloe because she knows that you like those responses that she gave. So that's number one. Going into Sales IQ settings, integrations, and activating the chatbot is step number one. Step number two would be going to settings, websites, choose whichever website you want to connect with Chloe. Now, for those of you who have multiple websites, you will see multiple options like this here. If you have only one website, you're just going to click that particular website alone and you go inside. So, whichever website you want to connect it with, just click that. Go to live chat widget. That's the second option here. Click this, and you're taken to the screen. On the top left corner of the screen, you have three options. Please click the last one that says Chat Window. Now, I know that you will be getting a copy of this recording, so you can pause it and follow the instructions at your own pace. So, once you're on Chat Window, go down to Configurations, the second option there, and the fourth option on this list says allow your bot to engage with website visitors. So you just click this option. By default, it's set to none, which means the bot doesn't deal with this particular website, and you change it to either of these two options that you have here. I've chosen to let the bot take over all conversation throughout the day. Of course, if someone wants to talk to me, as you can see on this chatbot window, it offers the option to connect the visitor to a human operator. So they always have that option. And if you think you have staff available during business hours and you only need this bot outside business hours and on holidays, choose the second option. So that's it. So, second step after integrating with Sundown is to go to settings, websites, choose your website, click live chat widget, click chat window on the top left corner, configurations, and then allow your bot to engage with visitors. So that's step two. So you've linked Chloe to a particular website that you have, or the only website that you have. Now, if you have multiple departments in your company, not just the one default department like I do, and if you feel, okay, so I'm going to restrict the chatbot to just one department, maybe the customer support or the technical support, where repeat questions are very common. Maybe I'm going to keep the sales department to just my staff. They're salesmen, they know what to do, and they can manage, and I have to keep them busy. If you feel that way, then just go to whatever department you want the chatbot to work on. Click that department. There's a section here that says associated bot. And that too would be set to none by default, but you can always change that to choose the name of the bot that you want to see handling this particular department chats. So any chat started on this website by choosing this department will go directly to the chatbot that you trained. So step one, step two, and step three. That's done. So FYI, like I said, there are certain things that you should remember before you start using Chloe. For self-learning to kick in, I told you there was a requisite number of chats that you need. That number, that magical number, is 1,000 chats. I know that you feel that the number is a little too high, and it probably is, but the reason is that machine learning becomes more and more accurate depending on how much data that it can go through. So the more chats that Chloe reads, the better the idea that she will have as to what responses that she should give to different questions. So 1,000 is good. Anything more than 1,000, that's awesome. But if you fall short of it by a little, let's say you have just 750 or 800 or 900, and you don't want to wait until it hits 1,000, don't worry. Just write to us or chat with us or call us, and we will make arrangements to make sure that backend settings are modified to allow Chloe to just read whatever chats that you have available, 800 or 935 or whatever that number is. So if you're close to 1,000, don't worry, you're already eligible to use that option. So otherwise, you can always train Chloe manually, just like I showed you. Unless the sundown graph shows as ready, the bot will not apply. That's point number two. So, what is this graph that we're talking about? If you go to the Chloe dashboard or the Sundown dashboard, under dialog, you have this section called graph status. Let me zoom in and it says ready. So basically, this is when Chloe has completed understanding all the chat conversations and is ready to deploy. So as soon as you upload all these chat conversations, it takes time to process them. Once it's ready, it says it's ready. So once you see ready here, you can be certain that it will take over all the chat conversations for the chosen departments and the websites. The third point to remember is that the bot can only be integrated to a department in which the overall super admin or portal owner or account owner, there are different names, is present. So, like I said, there are two departments here in Sales IQ, and let's say I am the portal owner or the account owner or super admin, and I'm not present in the department that I want Chloe to connect. Then Chloe cannot work with that department because if I'm not in it, the bot that I set up cannot sync with it. So just make sure that you're at least present during the integration phase at least. The fourth section to remember, of course, is the cost associated with the bot. The technology required to train and keep this AI bot functional is expensive. It requires tens of thousands of code to be able to even answer simple questions. If it was that easy, everybody would have it, right? So a lot of investment has gone in from Sundown. The reason we chose them for the integration was primarily because of the quality of the data their bots give us, the accuracy, its ability to understand human variations in languages. It's great, and that's why we chose them. But as a special offer to Zoho Sales IQ customers, Sundown offers a free tier where every month your bot can answer up to 1,000 messages at no extra cost. So for most businesses, this number should be sufficient. Your chat volume is not high enough to merit more than 1,000 messages. So you can very well operate on just the free tier alone. And I mean, look at it. The basic edition of Sales IQ offers 1,000 chats a month. And if even if most of them are handled by Chloe, you will still have sufficient reserve to be able to handle even a few more. So that shouldn't be a problem. So once you cross that 1,000 chats threshold, each message that Chloe responds to will be charged at just 3 cents. So the entire billing process is prepaid. You buy what's called as credits in advance, just like your prepaid phone, and it starts deducting the usage costs from that prepaid credit, which means that one particular month after you've had a huge volume of traffic to your website, you will not be looking at a huge bill from Sundown. No, since it's prepaid and since it's paid in advance, not postpaid, there's no way for you to overshoot your monthly budget allowance for Chloe. And of course, at 3 cents a message with its ability to handle tens or even hundreds of customers at the same time, if your traffic is that high, she's far, far more economical than any human operator that you can hire. So now that your bot is set up and ready to deploy, as discussed, it will take care of almost 70 to 75% of your average chat volume. And so now we can explore the two other additions to Sales IQ that I mentioned earlier, which can help increase that number further. So the first of those additions is the ability to preserve previous conversations that a visitor has had with you on the chat window. So it's like a reserve, a strategic reserve or an archive of all previous conversations. So here's a small preview. So somebody clicks the chat window, they're about to ask a question, but they notice that they've already chatted about this with one of your reps. They click that conversation, They read through it, they download the files that they missed, or whatever documents or URLs they were looking for, and that's it, they're done. They opened the chat window and they were just one button away from starting a new chat. But because we were able to preserve the previous conversations here right inside the chat window, there was no need for them to start a fresh chat. So again, repetitive chats where customers have the same questions again and again can be controlled using this feature. So that's number one out of two new additions to Sales IQ. The other one is in fact very recent. It what it does is it allows basically your chat window to function as a knowledge base, and it turns your chat window from just a chat window into a self-service kiosk, sort of like an ATM machine that helps you to skip the long queues at the bank. That's what this new edition is. Let's see that in action. So I have this good looking website here built on Zoho sites. And at the bottom right corner, you have the chat window, the usual chat widget, and I'm going to click that. But before I decide to chat with somebody, I notice this FAQ section at the bottom right corner, which I now click. Both the departments in my company are listed there. So if my questions were related to sales and billing, I'm going to click that department. If it's going to be about tech support because I'm an existing customer, I would click that accordingly. So I just click that, and all the articles are listed here. And as soon as I click them, there is an in tab pop up that shows the entire article to me. Just doesn't have to be text alone, even photographs, mini videos, or GIFs or GIFs, however you pronounce it, can all be shown here. So I can see the whole thing right here within this chat window pop up without ever having to chat with your agents. And if I find this information useful and if it answered my questions, I can obviously uh, upvote it so that more people will find it useful. If I still have questions, I can click this button and start another chat. And suddenly I can always use this search icon on the top to type the words that closely resemble what I was looking for. And Sales IQ will be able to list all the articles that match it or closely match those keywords. And I just click them and we'll be able to scroll down and view the entire article. So this is a animation that you can see right within the chat window. So it's very convenient that way because it's right here. This is the place where I would probably click to start a conversation with you. But if I find the answers to the questions I have, then there's no need for me to proceed to a conversation. So point number two of these two recent editions, the FAQ, make sure that chat conversations significantly reduce by giving them the answers they look for in advance. So how do you set that up? Go to settings, go to websites, click your website name, whatever that is. Click live chat widget again, just like how we did for the sundown bot setup. Click chat window again and scroll down to configurations. Once you're on the configuration page, scroll down to the bottom of the page to the section that says allow visitors to access articles from their chat windows. So this is what you should turn on. In my case, it's already on, but in your case, if you're looking at it for the first time, it will remain off. And after you've enabled it, you will then be able to see this tab or section at the bottom that allows you to upload your articles. But before that, you should make sure that you go to templates here, click articles, and type and save all those articles you want to publish on the chat window. If there are no articles, then there's no point in turning on an empty FAQ section. So there's that. So to paraphrase, The new chatbot can learn from previous conversations or uh, be trained to your liking to reduce the chat volume by a huge margin. The conversation history and FAQ or article capability that we just saw will further help reduce that number. So the chats that your support staff or sales teams have now to deal with will be pretty unique and certainly not have the repetitive questions to bore them or overwork them. So thank you all for allowing me to host you today for this customer education program, and I hope you guys liked it. Please share your questions or feedback to me after this webinar concludes, and I promise to make sure that Chloe doesn't answer them because she has received too much attention already in my defense. And yes, I suppose that you do feel the feel the need to rename Chloe into something else, perhaps a man's name, lest you make your wife suspicious by saying the name Chloe all too often. Be advised that Zoho is not responsible for any marital disputes that arise as a result. So long, guys. Cheers and have a nice day. Bye.